Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurudevo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So as I keep repeating all the time, that the title of this particular book itself is wrong. Aparokshanubhuti. The word direct experience predicates that there is an experience, therefore there is an experiencer, and there is an act of experiencing. Bhojanam, bhojyam, bhokta. Right? Bhojanam, bhojyam, the act, the thing that is being eaten. Bhojanam, the act of eating, and bhokta, the experiencer, the person who is enjoying the food. And what does he say in the Nirvana Shatakam? I am not the experiencer, I am not the experience, I am not the act, the thing that is being experienced. In that, therefore, Acharya has to be limited by the words of language to convey the sense of experience to us. And therefore, even in his own preface, he says that the words aparoksha anubhuti are actually in contradiction with each other. So, what is this entire text about? This text is basically, each shloka of this text is a shloka for manan, to go deeper and understand and how to use this statement of the Acharya to do a reflection on what my reality is. Let us look at verse number 32. Aham drishtataya siddho deho drishtataya stitaha mamayamiti nirdeshat katham syodehaka puman. So here he says, aham means I, drishtataya, as a witness, siddha, established, deha, body, drishtataya, as an object of perception. The first one is drishtritaya. Drishtritaya, the being seeing, the act of witness. And drishyataya, the object. Sthita, present. Mama, I am. Mama, I am. Now, mine, this. Now, this is a very, very beautiful meditation that was given to us by Gurudev. When we start off with the concept of mine, then I cannot be what I own. I can never be what I own. So, if I ask you, whose finger, then my finger predicates that I cannot be the finger. And you extend that and go to the whole body and you say my body, then by definition, you are predicating that you are not the body. My mind, my intellect. And here he, therefore, Acharya says very clearly that you are mama, ayam iti nirdeshat. By the declaration of saying, declaration, nirdeshat, by the declaration that this is mine, this is me, this is mine, you are already indicating that that thing is not you. Now, what is the meditation that we can do here? What is the reflection we can do here? Is there what Gurudev used to give us? And this was it was an intense practice that you had to do. You had to sit down and hold a pen in your hand and say this pen, and you have to do it mentally and say this pen, I am holding this pen. Okay, I am holding it with what? My fingers. So I am not the fingers. My fingers are attached to my wrist. I am not the wrist, my wrist. The moment the word my comes in, you have automatically, immediately declared that you are not that. Because by any logical extension, I cannot be what I own. Right? If I am owning something, I cannot be it. I cannot be my car. I cannot be my house. Similarly, I cannot be my body. I cannot be my mind. I cannot be my intellect. Where is the trap? The trap is in the fact that the body, the mind, and the intellect are all the time running outward, collecting information and processing that, making us run towards pleasure. And that bodily pleasure or the mental pleasure substitutes for the eternal bliss. What we therefore then do is, why are we all the time running for pleasure? Because of this. Why are we all the time running for perfection? Because of this. You see, because we came out of perfection, so our natural tendency is to go into perfection again. But I do not understand that perfection. So therefore, in that limited sphere of what I understand, I try to be the best. So if I am a thief, I want to be the best thief. If I am a dacoit, I want to be the best dacoit. If I am a CA, I want to be the best CA. If I am a CEO, I want to be the best CEO. This whole process of wanting to be best, wanting to compete, is because of two things. One, I see myself as an individual, and two, in that reasoning that I need to be best comes from a subconscious drive, not even a subconscious, an unconscious drive that is pushing you towards that perfection. But we don't understand what that perfection is, and therefore we try to do it in the limited body, mind, intellect level. Hence, this beautiful meditation where he says, try and think in terms of mine and mine, me and mine. What is me cannot be mine, and therefore what is mine, you eliminate one by one. You start eliminating, which is the process of the Upanishad. The Upanishad says, na iti, neti, 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 not this, 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 not this. Finally, what is left? Now that finally to be arriving at that final left intellectually is still possible. But will I be able to make it a realization for me? Now you understand the difference between understanding or intellectual understanding and realization. They are two different things completely. Right? Intellectual understanding, and I always say this way, I used to sell life insurance. So I always say, everybody knows that they will die. Nobody realizes it. Nobody realizes it, and therefore you are all the time planning. So there is this beautiful story of in the Mahabharata. There is one whole chapter called Yaksha Prashna. So Yaksha Prashna is a test that was given to Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira and the 5 Pandavas, this is the time before the marriage. They were all roaming around, and Yudhishthira felt thirsty. So typical chauvinistic behavior of the elder brother bullying the youngest. Sahadev, go fetch water. So Sahadev said, I am in the middle of the forest, where will I get water? You go up that tree and you look around, you stupid fool. So he looked around and he said, I can see some cranes, I can't see some water. Come here, let me give you one knock at the back of your head. If you can see cranes, the cranes will be around water only. Go there. How will I bring water? You empty your bows and arrows. You empty your arrows, you have a quiver, fill up that with water and come. They went, didn't come back. Nakul went, didn't come back. Arjun went, didn't come back. Bhim went, didn't come back. Yudhishthira said, what is wrong with these people? I'm sure they have found some beautiful apsaras and they are all rollicking around with them. And then they have forgotten their brother, let me go. So he went there and he found all these 4 are lying there dead. There is not a scratch on their body. So he said, okay, let me drink this water and then let me figure out what happened with them. As he approached the water, there was a ethereal voice. And the ethereal voice said, look, buddy, all of these people died because they did not listen to me. Now, you better listen to me. Otherwise, you will also suffer the same fate. So I said, okay. He thought through and said, these chaps are, all 4 of them individually are strong enough to conquer Indra. And how could they have died? So there is some magic at play. Okay, tell me, what do you want? You have to answer my questions. So Yaksha asks him some 80 questions. These 80 questions form a very beautiful dialogue in terms of quick-wittedness and understanding of the world around us. Right? There are questions like, what is heavier than the earth? What is heavier than the earth? The word here used is guru. Guru means heavy. Right? So, using that word guru, Yudhishthir plays on that and says, Matro Paramo Guru. Mother is heavier than the earth. Right? So beautiful. It's a very beautiful. In Sanskrit, it is very beautiful. But even if you read it in English, you will find that there is a lot of truth in whatever he's talking about. He says, what is faster than the wind? At that point of time, possibly wind was the fastest thing they knew of. And immediately his answer comes saying, the mind is faster than the wind. Now, Yudhishthira is asked a wonderful question. He says, Yaksha says, what is the most surprising thing on this world? So, Yudhishthira says, I stand on my veranda every day and I see people going underneath on four shoulders. People shouting Ram Nam Satya Hai and going. And yet, everybody thinks that they are immortal. Beautiful truth. Very nice. Now, the Mahabharata war was over. The story doesn't end there. Mahabharata war was over. A huge bell was fitted in the courtyard of the palace in Hastinapur. Remember, after the war was over, the Pandavas also became Kauravas, right? Kuruvanshi. So they shifted their capital back to Hastinapur. And when they came back to Hastinapur, in the courtyard, a huge bell was fitted. And that bell was supposed to be rung whenever there was a great victory. And Yudhishthir had this practice every day. Deserving Brahmins would come, deserving Pandits would come, they would line up and they would be given gold and gold coins and clothes and so on and so forth. So the whole lineup has happened. The lineup has ended. Yudhishthir has got up from his throne, and at that point of time, one old Brahmin comes over there, puts his hands together and says, Rajan, I have come all the way from Avantika. Now Avantika is Ujjain, and that's far. Right? So he says, I have come all the way from Avantika, hoping to get some money. And you have said that the darbar for today is ended. So Yudhishthira said, don't worry. Darbar will be held tomorrow. And again, tomorrow I will give you the money. Suddenly the bell started ringing. Everybody rushed out saying, what happened? What happened? Why is the bell ringing? They saw Bhim ringing the bell very heavily. Dang, dang, dang. Everybody went to Bhim and said, what Rakshasa have you conquered? Which kingdom have you destroyed? So he said, no, I haven't done anything. My elder brother has destroyed death for one day and he has promised that he will give him money tomorrow.
Nobody knows what is tomorrow.
Now, the same Yudhishthir who said that the most surprising thing is the fact that we do not know when we will die, but we will all die, is that same person who has got into the same trap and is saying, I will give you the money tomorrow. Realization is not very easy. This is the difference between understanding and realization. So to do that realization, what do we do? Therefore comes the whole concept of Shad Sampat. Right? The Shad Sampat. So you go through the 6 virtues. Titiksha. Yes, Patuda, you want to say something? So you go through Titiksha, you go through Shama, you go through Dama, etc., etc. When you practice those virtues, when you put yourself into a particular discipline, that is when those vasanas start getting cleared, and that intellectual jump from the intellect to realization can happen. That will happen on its own. You can't push it. It will happen on its own. Yesterday we were studying Saundarya Lahari, and the particular shloka says that Devi gets up from her throne and rushes towards Sadashiva. And Sadashiva comes unannounced. He comes unannounced. That is what happens in this process. You don't have to wait. Our job is to just do the things that we are supposed to do. The rest will automatically follow. And Gurudev therefore used to be very, very strict about this. He said, have you done your manan about what is me and what is mine? Aham, mama, aham, mama. What is me and what is mine? So that is what this particular shloka is about. So this is the shloka where you are meditating on me and mine. And therefore, he says, aham vikarahenastu deho nityam vikaravan iti pratiyate sakshat katham syo deha kapuman. Aham vikarahenastu. I am changeless. Vikarahena. I am changeless. Think about this. When all your hair was completely black, Parthoda, you were still I. When I had hair on my head, I was still I. When I was 2.5 kilos, I was I. When I have grown to 65 kilos, I am still I. I have gone through all so many changes. Right? He says very clearly that the Deha is Deha Nityam Vikaravan. Every day. Right? So, you go to the bathroom in the morning and you shave. A certain amount of change has already happened. A number of hair follicles came out and you threw them away. Ladies in this particular concept are very, very detached. They leave their property all over the place. Their hair. So all over the place you will find hair. Right? So very detached. They're continuously detaching themselves from their property. But Vikaravan, continuously changing. Continuously, every second we are shedding follicles, we are shedding dead cells. We are going through these changes. But in each of those changes, I has not changed. I am angry, I am sad. So at the physical level, now at the mental level, I am angry, I am sad, I am happy, I am irritated. All of those that I has remained the same. It is the same I which is going through all these changes. When I was in college, we had a professor called Professor N. Vishwanathan. And N. Vishwanathan, he used...
the English professor.
Yeah, English professor. He was... he used to say, if you are in college, studying in college, and you are not a communist, then you are foolish. After you've passed out from college and you are still a communist, then you are even more foolish. Right? Mentally, I am a communist. And then I change and I become a capitalist. And then I become a humanist. And I am becoming something. That I, which was there in the intellect, has also remained the same. The intellectual thought processes changed. My opinions changed. My views changed. Meditation on this particular shloka is you seeing your entire life through. Don't worry about the life. Just look at your own day, one day. Examine that day through the morning when you woke up to the last minute when you are just before you're going to sleep. Try and do this entire run through and see, did your I ever change? That is the manan here. See, I told you in the beginning itself, each shloka is a manan, each shloka is a reflection, each shloka is a requirement for us to sit down and do an understanding of how do I apply this as a manan. Only then the Aparokshanubhuti will happen. By reading this and understanding it, then we have to go back to Bhaja Govindam and say, nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Right? Then it becomes dukrin karane. It becomes rules of grammar. You have understood it and you can recite it by heart. So I'm very impressed with 3-year-olds who are reciting the Bhagavad Gita by heart. I'm definitely not impressed with a 45-year-old coming to me and saying, I have the Gita by heart. Then my next question is, okay, please tell me the meanings of what you thought in chapter 8. What did you learn? In chapter 8, we talk about the dying in Uttarayan, dying in Dakshinayan. What does it actually mean? Oh, that means that I should wait for the Uttarayan for me to die. Oh, yes, you have a you have a written pact in signed an affidavit in which Yamaraj has also given his signature that only during Uttarayan I will die. So it is only when we understand the depth of the scripture, the depth of the understanding of the experience of Acharya, and we try to emulate that through deep reflection, deep contemplation, that the experience of oneness can happen. And believe me, if that experience, you touch that experience once, it's finished. There is nothing more that can happen in life. And as you even approach this, so this brings me to another question. So I have been sitting for 45 minutes every day. I have been doing this. You have been telling me to do this and so on and so forth. How do you know, will I know whether I am progressing or not? Now that's a question that every sadhaka has. Every sadhaka will come back and say, how do I know whether I have progressed? What do you think is the answer?
If you are able to even hold on to the thought that you are the ultimate for even 1 minute, that means you are, I would say that you have achieved. And the very fact that it gets disturbed, that means you are still not reached. I think the meditation is one of the best way to test yourself. You cannot tell your experience of meditation to somebody else, but you can
Correct.
see for yourself. And at the time of meditating, when you find that you are not able to hold on to this thought that I'm just saying it for the sake of saying that it is aham brahmasmi. I'm just giving you that example.
Yeah,
If you
sure.
are able to hold on to that, you may say anything. You may say soham. You may say I'm Shiva. This, that, everything. Your word will say, your mind will say, but your mind internally is not accepting. You are thinking something else. The moment that happens, that means you are still not reached. This is
Fair
according to
enough. No, fair enough.
me. That itself is a good test for ourselves that you
No,
have
no,
not
that
reached.
is, absolutely. I have no problems with that. My question is, oh, I have been doing this sadhana for the last 2 years. Have I progressed? Have I started moving towards that? How will I know? I will know when I have reached. There is no doubt about that. But how will I know that I have progressed? Right? If you go to a gym and you are working out for 2 years, how will you know that you have progressed? Oh, you will have, your strength would have increased, your endurance would have increased, your stamina would have increased, and so on and so forth. Right? If you go to school and you learn basic mathematics first, and then you learn long division, then you learn square root, and then you learn cube root, and then you learn differential calculus, then you learn integral calculus, and as you are progressing, you get knowing that there is a progress. How do you know there is a progress? Yes.
Can I answer this? See,
Parthoda raised his finger first.
Yeah, I'll give you an example of my childhood days. I sometimes went up in the morning and got dressed up to go to the school. And my mother laughed and said, "Arey, today is Sunday. Why? Today is no school." So I wanted to go to the school and meet my friends, tell them something new. And maybe I got some gift. I wanted to show it to them. Maybe a simple pencil or an eraser. I have seen that when I do the meditation, I'm talking about this 45 minutes meditation. Number one, when I achieved 45 minutes, it was not easy. Initially, it was very difficult. Once I achieved, subsequently, there was a craving to meditate. And in one day, I could not meditate, means I lost something that day. One. And the other thing is, there was a craving to do more meditation. That means once 45 minutes is not enough, as if, can I find time to do another round of 45 minutes? So this is there. So I don't know whether there is some change, may not be very perceptible change, but some craving towards that, to go towards that. Your sound is not coming.
No, I was giving instruction for the charger, just to bring the charger. Yeah. So good. One of the primary prerequisites that Gurudev used to say is, anything that gives you pleasure, you want to do more. If meditation has started giving you pleasure, and that is not measurable pleasure, then you have definitely started liking, and therefore you are going to do more of it. So absolutely, that is a good indicator of progress. Yes, Vishu, you were wanting to say something.
No, see, I'm only repeating what Gurudev I've once heard his this thing. He used to use this word. That state of your realization comes without any premonition. Okay, that's what he says. I've heard, I still remember, because that is very deep rooted in my mind. So whenever I meditate, I just look at this. He said that there is no indication. I don't think, as you rightly said, you are basically looking at your pleasure and you are thinking that it is a progress, but we cannot measure. There is no measurable this thing. Once the moment you reach that state itself is not measurable. It's not a measurable this thing. So I don't think it will come and we can assess our progress on this the moment. No, it is not like incremental. It is going to be sudden. It's not going to be incremental. That okay, you're progressing, and then finally you will reach. No, it may happen that you may still not reach. So that's what my this thing, based on some of the lectures I've heard the past of people like Gurudev who have achieved in life. This is my this thing, because I have not achieved, so I'm not in a position to give you the answer.
So again, we are not talking of the state of realization. We are talking of the progress towards the state of realization. So what is the first indicator? One is wanting to do more. The second is, have you stopped reacting? Yes, Lilith, you want to say something.
And after you finish your point.
So have you stopped reacting to other people outside you? So when there is something that comes, when something happens, my earlier state was, instantly I have to reply. Instantly there is something that happens in my mind. Instantly that also has to come into from my mind to my tongue. It has immediately to move up. Right? But over the years, am I slowing down? Has that slowing down happened? So when that slowing down, not that the thought has not happened, the thought has happened. My ability to control my reaction and make it a response is a clear indication of your progress. And I'm not quoting, I'm not saying that this is my thought. I'm just quoting Gurudev. He has given 4 indicators. First was your needing to wanting to do more of meditation, dhyana. The second is your progress in your ability to control your reactions. Number 3, okay, yes, Lalita ji, what was your thought?
Okay, my problem, which I told you long back, still persists. That is, but there are changes. The main thing is not able to sit, what should I say, without moving. Like automatically or in some way, the nose will do like this. Something will, something. If nothing, I feel in the calf muscle or in the knee, some twitching internally. It's not even outside. And most of the time it is outside. And before I can think, I've already done like this, rub my hand or whatever. So this kind of, at such times I used to feel, I still feel so much, physically that there is so much. But then I tried and tried. I still continue doing, but now I have just given up. When it will happen, it will, I mean, if it should just, what should I say? I've just stopped thinking about it now. In fact, every time this topic used to come, I used to wait to tell you this, that, this problem is still persisting. But still I thought, okay, let me try some more time and then get back to you. So I
Hmm.
still don't know what I should be doing, where I'm going wrong or what, I don't know.
Okay. Okay. The first thing here is see, the body will react, and your understanding that the body is reacting and controlling that forcefully controlling that will help your mind and your body to start disconnecting. So I actually have had people asking me questions that if I sit on the ground with Ardha Siddhasan or Siddhasan for 3 hours, as you have been talking about, and then possibly I may get paralyzed. I said, I have not come across one single person who gets paralyzed by sitting for 3 hours. You know what will happen? After the first 45 minutes, the feet will go to sleep. You will forget the existence of your feet. And that is when you will actually start going deeper. Because now that part of the body is no longer yours. It is disconnected.
But
So,
this is not the feet. In fact, now I'm very glad.
I understand. I'm not talking of the feet. I'm saying the body. So the body will cause reactions. Itching will happen. Some tingling will happen. And you force yourself to say, no, I will not move. Gurudev used to say, are you a rock? Are you a rock? Are you a rock? Become one. You have to become a rock. So when you become a rock, the rock doesn't move. That is the... So, 2 I told you. The third, people who start interacting with you, do they see or even start commenting about your calmness? Because they have started experiencing, you are getting third-party validation of the fact that you have slowed down. And the fourth, when you enter into a room, when you are in a group of people, the people around you automatically also start slowing down. They start becoming calmer. They start feeling more joyous. They start feeling more at ease with even themselves. These were the 4 indicators given. Not necessarily that they are all 4 sequential. It could be any of these. But these are indicators that I have started progressing. So coming back to what Acharya has been talking or Gurudev has been talking, is that when I do this manan, when I go through this deep manan, aham vikarahinaha tu deha nityam vikarvan.
Sorry, one interruption. 5th one, you're not.
No, 4. I told you 4.
4.
1.
Yeah.
The first is wanting to do more, reaction time, third-party validation, and calmness. Spreading calmness. These are the 4. So, and obviously, I mean, one of the indicators of this is, the practice of this is how you are looking at the Shat Sampat. Am I tolerant of others? Am I able to control my impulses? I talk about this when I talk about emotional intelligence. And you go back to emotional intelligence and you look at emotional intelligence, we put it into a different format, right? The Western science is put into a format of managing, understanding one's emotions, understanding emotions of others, and not just reacting to other people. We've done all that. We just had a different format. We didn't understand it. Titikshasva bhava, Arjuna. He says, isn't it, in Bhagavad Gita? Very clearly, titikshasva bhava. Nistraigunyas titikshasva bhava, Arjuna, he says, in chapter 2 itself. He says, get over the 3 gunas and become tolerant. Tolerance, what is tolerance? Tolerance is the ability to accept other people the way they are rather than judging them. All of this comes only when we start evolving towards that state, which is, as Vishu very rightly said, completely undescribable, completely impossible to put into words or put into any sort of physical perception. So this is the manan for the this particular shloka. Then verse number 34. Yasmat paramiti.
Parthoda. Parthada
Yes,
wanted to say something.
You in the last class you talked about japa,
Mhm.
and also you talked about meditation. Of course, we all know about meditation right now. I was wondering, you told us to do that manan also. Before you go to the next shloka,
Mhm.
can you throw a little more light on the difference between meditation and japa? Because in meditation, you talked about soham. You breathe in so.
No. Soham is also japa.
No, you
Soham is
just
also
told
japa.
us soham meditation, correct?
Okay, so meditation is a
Ah.
word I'm using, but
But
okay,
what we
good
do
question.
in
I've understood.
meditation, when we inhale, slowly we say so in our mind. And when we exhale, but your idea is that you exhale at a slower pace than at the one in which you inhale. That's all about it. So that is the meditation part. So now when I come to japa, I am using another mantra. So what is the difference between japa and meditation? Yeah.
So Soham is also a mantra, the way we are using it right now.
Hmm.
It is also a vakya. It can be used for meditation. What is the difference? Japa is a continuous repetition of a series of sounds in a mental state, right? Initially, I may not be able to do it mentally, so I do what is called Vaikhari, right? Vikaran means to spread, Vaikhari from the lips, from the mouth. Then since I start practicing that, I start only with my lips moving. That is called Upamshu, right? Then I go even deeper and I am able to see the mantra. I'm able to visualize the mantra. I do not need to say it even with my lips or my mouth or my tongue. This is called Pashyanti. I am able to see. And then even deeper, it goes into the sound state, the unformed sound state, and therefore you perceive the mantra to be everything, right? And that is called the para state. All of this is nothing but japa. The purpose of japa is to able to control the mind. I'm putting you on mute because I think somewhere it is echoing. It's okay. It's okay. You can unmute whenever you want to talk. So the purpose of japa is to enable and train the mind to be able to sit in one place. That is called japa. Now, meditation is, as you will hear whenever you hear Gurudev's videos, he'll say, sitting on the seat of meditation, he says. That seat of meditation is not mantra. The seat of meditation is the contemplation of the indestructible, all-pervading self. So when you use the word soham, and the reason I use the word soham instead of saying Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Om Namah Shivaya or any of these mantras, is you move away from the breath alone and start contemplating the truth of that statement. You move away from japa to meditation. So meditation is the process of contemplating the universality of this self and understanding that I am part of it, becoming part of it, becoming part of it. That is meditation. Now we can't be in meditative state all the time. So you be one step below, which is where the mind is tranquil, and therefore you be at the mantra state. The mantra state will go from the Vaikari state to the para state. At the para state, the mantra has almost become meditative because you are perceiving this entire world to be mantra. For example, let me give you an example of a mantra which has Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya clearly has a meaning, right? It has a meaning. Now, what will this line mean? I am Klimsau. No meaning. But this is the most powerful mantra of Bala Tripura Sundari. So, mantra does not necessarily have to have a meaning. Mantra is a series of sound which you use with your breath to be able to control the jumping around of your mind and make it sit down in one place. Until it has learned to sit down, how will it contemplate? That process of contemplation of the self is called dhyana or meditation. So that is the difference. When you are starting to use Soham as a mantra, which is when you are connecting it with the breath in, with the breath out, at some points of time, you will forget the breath and you will be looking only at Soham. And when you're looking only at Soham, you have moved away from japa to meditation. You're looking only at Soham and saying, I am that. Because Soham is a journey. Soham is a journey. The Guru comes, the Shishya goes to Guru and says, who am I? Koham. So the Guru says, you are that. Tattvamasi. Now the student meditates on Tattvamasi and realizes and comes to the conclusion, I am that Soham. The journey from Koham to Soham involves the Mahavakya Tattvamasi.
So
And
are these
therefore-
two sequential? Like first you succeed in meditation, then you do japa, or the other way around, you do japa,
you
then
have
you
to
do
succeed. You have to succeed in japa because your mind has to first learn how to sit in one place.
Okay, so first japa,
Always.
then
Always.
go to meditation.
And then go to meditation.
Oh, okay.
So, and which is why Gurudev always used to say, have you finished a japa? Have you finished a japa? Japa, 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 japa. Because he knew our minds are like, we were physically monkeys also. Right? We were young, we had a lot of energy. All that physically monkeyness, all the monkey business used to happen. That he never bothered.
So
He used to enjoy
simply,
that.
if I understand that you start with japa, go on chanting the mantra, do it regularly, and when you don't need even japa, you can sit quiet, controlling
You
your
will become-
mind, you are in a meditative state. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Ah, okay, that clarity came today only. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so we move to the next shloka. Yasmat paramidhi shrutya taya purusha lakshanam vinirnitam vimodhena katham syadeha kapuman. Yasmat paramiti. He says, Yasmat, by that, or rather from whom, higher, param, iti, thus, tatha, shrutya, from the shruti. Shruti. What is shruti and how is it different from other scriptures? We have heard, right? Shruti, smriti, puranukta, purananam, alayam, karunalayam. Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. What is Shruti, Smriti, Puranana? What is the difference? What is Shruti? What is Smriti?
Shruti is what was learned through hearing, and like I think Vedas was Shruti and Upanishad was Smriti, or
No, no.
maybe the other way around.
All
Sorry.
Vedas, Upanishads are Shruti.
Or
Bhagavad
Shruti,
Gita,
okay.
Bhagavad Gita is Smriti. And even
Smriti.
Bhagavad Gita is also Bhagavad Gita and all this are Smriti. Only
Yeah,
Vedas
yeah, I
are
think that
Shruti
is right.
because Vedas came through the
Yeah,
hearing. So it is.
So you have to understand this very differently. Shruti is what you hear. Hear where? In your meditation. So when you study the Vedas, for you, what is it? It is Smriti. Because if you remember when we went to the Brahma Sutra, what did he say? Even the Vedas are also useless. Right? They are also in the material world. But so how did this happen? How did the Shruti happen?
No, that they have said that it is Apara Vidya, but they didn't say that it is not Shruti. See,
No, he says Aparavidya and Paravidya. In the Paravidya, he lists out the Vedas. He clearly lists out the Vedas. He uses the word
Apara
Shruti.
Vidya, Vedas are Apara Vidya, he says that very correctly. But he didn't say that it's not Shruti.
No, it is Vedas are Shruti to the extent that they become your experience. You have to hear them. So how does that happen? So how did the Gayatri Mantra come to us? How did the Purusha Suktam come to us? Sahasrashesha Purushaha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. How did these words come? Right? So it is believed that, and again, these are all not my interpretations. These are all coming from various teachers. So in the deepest meditation, they heard certain sounds. Those sounds were not Sahasrashesha Purushaha. They went into the sound and they identified with that sound. When they identified with that sound, para, right? Para Pashyanti Upamsu or Madhyama, and then Vaikhari. Then that para state, Nada Brahman, sound as the first creation of the material world, because sound created space. Space created touch. Touch created air. Air created sight. Sight created Agni. So when Nada, sound, which is the first of the Tanmatras, they have merged with that first Tanmatra, the subtlest of all creation. They become one with creation. In that oneness with creation, they put certain letters, they put certain tunes, they put certain words to those sounds that they were trying to manifest, and those they brought down and expressed them to us. That is how the Vedas came to us. That is why they are called Shruti. They experienced them. Shruti does not mean only hearing. They experienced them in their entirety. In the story of Vishwamitra, I've forgotten the name of the Purana. It says, in the deepest meditation, Vishwamitra left his body, and in the Atmic sense, he traveled to the deepest core of the sun. And in there, when he was meditating, he heard, he experienced the Gayatri. And he brought it back. And he gave it to us. Right? When we do this in Nyavandanam, we put Vishwamitra here. Right? We put Vishwamitra as the Rishi for the Gayatri.
Good.
So when Vishwamitra gave us the Gayatri, how did he give us the Gayatri? He did not create it. He experienced it. In the solar orb, in the illuminator. So that is what Shruti is. So here he says, Yasmat Paramiti Shrutya, what the Shruti declares, what your own experience, in your oneness of experience you will find, what you will find which has been declared again and again by all the teachers, that you are talking about. Taya Purusha Lakshanam, that is the nature of Purusha. That is the nature of Purusha. Then how can the body be the self?
Swami, just one point here. I think what you are now reading is verse 34, because
Yes.
33 I am getting something different.
34. We are in 34.
We are
No,
in
we are
34 only.
30. Huh? Sorry,
Yes.
you started with 32, no?
No.
32.
Right now we have
Yes.
reached 34.
You started
30.
with 32, then you are supposed to go to 33.
33 we did.
We did.
You did?
Aham
Yeah, we finished that.
vikarahinastu.
Yeah,
Aham
we did that.
vikarahinastu deho nityam vikaravan.
Okay,
iti
okay.
pratiyate
Acha.
sakshat katham syadeha kapuman. That is
Okay.
the 33.
Acha, I think the meanings got okay. Okay. Okay,
And
now
then
we are 34. Okay.
34.
Okay.
Yasmat
Thank you.
paramiti shrutya taya purusha lakshanam
Hmm.
vinirnitam vimudena katham syadeha kapuman. So here he says that don't be foolish, you don't be deluded. See, even in the Purusha Sukta, so he says that the Purusha is 10 fingers beyond the universe. Right? 10 fingers beyond the universe. Right? We should recite.
Atyadishta Shankulam.
Right? Correct. Who's 10 fingers? Who is there to count the 10 fingers? How do you count 10 fingers? What is being said is that the Purusha encompasses everything that is visible for you and within your imagination, and has gone beyond that by 10 fingers. 10 fingers is because we can understand 10. That's all. When it says Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, how many eyes should be there? Dvishaharsha Aksha. It's not saying Dvisahasra, it's not saying 2000 eyes. 1000 here is a number to indicate infinity. Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat, he has 1000 eyes, 1000 legs, 1000 hands. This 1000 is an indication of infinity. The Veda clearly declares Purusha to be the ultimate. In the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda, Purusha Sukta clearly says that the Purusha is the ultimate, and it is only Purusha which got divided into various things. And the eyes came and created the sun, and the mind of Purusha created the Chandrama, and so on and so forth. All of that happened because Purusha is the ultimate manifestation, the nearest approximation that we can understand of Brahman. We cannot understand Brahman. We may be able to experience it, but you cannot understand it. So what we can understand needs to have a rupa and a nama. Without a rupa nama, we cannot understand anything. And therefore, the concept of Purusha here, and he says, this Purusha is the greatest of all. And you understand it, you know it, and yet you say, I am the body. Right? Yes, please.
Amir, 33, I confused because I was deeply thinking, I cannot say myself or my Atman. I cannot say then, no?
You
Because
cannot. You cannot.
okay. As much as I cannot.
So we go back. So we
My-
go back to the analogy of the wave, ocean, water.
Yeah.
As long as you are understanding that I am an individual wave, you will say my Atman and so on and so forth. By definition, therefore, my Atman means I am not the Atman.
Yes.
There
Yeah,
must be
that's
something beyond. And that is Purusha. That is Purusha, the encompassing of all the individual jivas, which is nothing but Brahman. Hence, in Sanatana Dharma, when somebody dies, we never say, may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
You cannot say that. It's a mistake.
Yes.
How can his soul rest in peace? Then where is he, bhai? Wo kidhar gaya? His soul is there, resting in peace. Where is he? So you never
What
say
do you
his.
write? What do you say? What do you say?
Om Shanti.
I just say Om Shanti. May peace be attained. And for whom? Peace be attained by you, because you are attached and you are suffering. That chap has gone, left the body, gone. He is waiting in Pitrulok, looking around. What am I going to want to become? Cockroach, cat, crocodile, another human being? He is looking around.
Can you say Sadgati of the soul? Possible? No.
You know why? The soul is gone. It has immediately started the process of transmigration.
Yeah.
Vasamsi jirnani vihaya. Right?
So if at all Jivatma, it can be said, no?
Yeah, so if you are so very sure that it is still a jivatma, we are not sure. We don't know whether he has merged, not merged. Here we don't know. So you can also say, may that jivatma attain param gati by merging into the paramatma. Too complex. Too complex. May you attain peace. May you get peace by removing the getting detachment from the fact that. So I quite often am called by people to recite the Bhagavad Gita when somebody has died. And I always refuse. Because I ask them, for whom do you want me to recite? So they said, for the person who has died. Sorry, he has gone. He can't listen to me anymore. And you know what I will do? I will sit there and I will be chanting, and you will be going and welcoming people and giving them cups of tea. If you are at least ready to sit down and understand what chapter 8 is talking about, then I'm ready to sit down with you. So, understanding here very clearly, when Acharya says Shrutya, it is not only the grammatical, mechanical learning of the particular shloka, but also going deeper into that manan. So here he's enticing us to go deep into Shruti and understand it and examine it. And once you have examined it, share it. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, very clearly there is a direction. Swadhyaya Pravachanecha. Swadhyaya Pravachanecha. Once you learn, talk about it, spread it, so that somewhere the seed will fall and they will start thinking. That is your job. So 3 different manans we have learned today. Right? Chaliye, let me close. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Dhanyavad.